All right, guys, we are at Utah Trikes. I'm parked right out in front of, I think the entrance is on the other side. Let's figure it out. Utah Trikes is one of the biggest distributors of trikes and quads and all sorts of fun stuff in, I don't know, North America. I think more than that, actually. But let's go around the other side and we'll talk. Man, I have been so happy with that trike rack on the back of that van. It is good. Yeah, Utah Trikes is situated in a real beautiful part of Utah. Holy moly, we got mountains with snow-capped peaks on one side, and it's kind of on the outskirts of town. I mean, hell, look at this lawn. That is a green lawn, my friends. There we go. Hey, howdy, howdy. Good, good. Hey, Ashley, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. How are things? You got some trikes here.
Yeah, we got a few. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Mikey, nice to meet you, Mikey. Mikey came to the van as I was changing clothes. Peeked in. You saw the true Jayoe. So this is Ashley. He's the brains behind Utah Trikes. How long have you been in business?
Yeah, Utah Trikes we started about 20 years ago, so next year will be our 20th year.
How did it start? Is there like I built my first trike in the garage story?
I mean, I've been building bikes and mechanical devices for years. About 20 years ago, I got to the point where I just couldn't ride my bike every day. I was commuting every day, but I have really bad carpal tunnel. It was hurting.
Yeah.
Had to figure out, other options. So I went out there and I found every other cycling device that I could.
Yep.
My background is actually in computer programming
Really?
and website development, and then I got really into video production, and then we brought all of that business here to Utah.
Okay.
And so my love of cycling every day and riding a trike, eventually was partly because of my love of making videos and needing a subject for videos. Before Utah Trikes, we were using trikes as an item to show off our video production equipment. We had our own streaming servers before YouTube even existed, and we were dealing with analog video, then DV, then...
Are you recording me now? On your glasses?
Probably.
Are those glasses recording glasses?
The way are being recorded, yeah. And then my love of trikes, just my mechanical side just kind of started taking over, and I was getting more and more consumed with making trikes better and being, every time I would go out and ride, people would say, hey, what is that? I'm sure you get that too, of course,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why the trike is so cool, is because it's not an upright bike. It draws attention.
Right, I mean, it's the pedal powered go-kart, basically.
Right.
That was kind of what started the whole thing, and then it got to a point where I'm going, I think that this is actually what my passion is. My passion is out there cycling and letting people ride these cool things and building them.
When I first rode a trike was because I wanted to travel, but I wanted to travel and make videos. And the idea of like basically you're on a camera dolly.
Right.
With big smooth wheels, and so you could get like really interesting footage, and you don't got to worry about flipping over or balance. You just pull the camera out or fly or whatever.
Yeah,
so cool.
Right when you walk in here, we've got our showroom, and this changes on a daily basis. So we're trikes are coming in and out all the time, and we get a lot of locals coming in, and what we call locals doesn't necessarily mean like they're local to us, but people come from all over the U.S. here. So just last week at the same time, we had 2 people from Canada, a guy from Alaska, a guy from, Wyoming, and somebody from back east, and they were all here at the same time.
What sort of metric can you use to kind of understand how much business you do? Because you're the biggest in North America, right?
Yeah.
Or are you like the biggest in the world. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, we're the biggest.
Yeah.
You know, so
The biggest. There's no asterisk there. It's just the biggest.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of that is because we, you know, one of my main focuses right from the beginning was customization. It's giving people what they want, because that was as soon as we started selling trikes, people would go, well, hey, I like that, but
I want this.
can you make it pink?
Yeah.
Or, you know, I want a motor on it, or I want these gears, or can you make this with fat tires? I'm gonna tour on this, so I need big racks and all this kind of stuff. So that was right off the bat.
So you do painting here as well?
Yeah.
Oh, you have a booth? You do powder coating and stuff?
We'll give you,
oh my gosh. We're
gonna give you the whole tour.
Okay,
here,
cool.
This is, in large part, it's a trike storage depot, you know, where we're, you know, as trikes are getting built, they go in there and then they cycle through.
Yep.
And,
how many trikes do you have on hand at any one time?
I think right now we have about 500.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we usually try to keep about that level. This is one of our assembly areas. So right now we're assembling a bunch of the quads that we build.
Oh, how much quads versus trikes? Is it like a 20% quad, or is it more than that?
I would say we're probably pretty close to 50-50.
50-50. Yeah. Wow, I didn't think quads had such a market, but I guess they do.
I mean, the quad market, it's different than trike. You know, we get a lot of people that are looking for trikes, and then they decide on a quad for, you know, they both have their pluses and minuses, their pros and cons. The trike market is somewhat established now. You know, it's very into the cycling adjacent kind of market, where the quads, where we're getting the most traction, is really kind of the off-road wheelchair market, or the electric ATV market. You know, 4 motors on this thing. This thing's a beast, full suspension. This is essentially an electric ATV.
What about, there's certain states you can't ride quads, right?
Most states, they define a bicycle as a 2 or 3 wheel vehicle that's pedal powered.
Yep.
And then there's obviously the whole adding a motor thing changes some stuff. In most states, a pedal powered e-quad is legally undefined. It's not that it's illegal, it's just that it no longer has a legal definition. You know, anybody looking at it, and if it has pedals, and it's a cycle, but the fact that then it has 4 wheels, then it kind of depends on what the power requirements. Most of the quads that we're building are going to be more off-road use, and they're going to comply with the OPMD regulations, where it's an other electric mobility device. You know, so those are going to be permitted on bike trails and even national parks and stuff, but there's limitations on those. So those are going to specifically be the quads that we make that have a hard set 13 mile an hour speed limit and different power requirements and everything. They buy them for farms, they buy them for hunting. Because they are electric, they're very quiet.
Right.
And so they go out and they go hunting with them, and, you know, and it's a near silent.
It's like a mobile blind almost.
Right, yeah,
it's a mobile blind that makes no noise.
So this is our most popular quad platform, which is our pedal powered hybrid e-quad. Okay. So it's got a 1,000-watt motor that then drives gearing, and then it's got the pedals will go up front. So
wow. Yeah, this is, you know, like you said, the 3-wheeled market is becoming more and more established. I don't know much about the quad market other than seeing a couple of Spetsy examples, you know, at the show.
Well, we'll definitely get you on a quad this weekend. Every trike, once it gets built, before it gets shipped out, goes through Jan's 200-point inspection.
Okay.
And everything gets tested, and then finally gets a test ride on it. And then once we're 100% sure everything's ready to go, then we use our table here and we do 360 pictures.
Okay.
And then we get the 360 pictures, we send those to the customer for approval. Yeah, and so that works out really good for us because then we can send that to the customer and then they have, you know, a whole set of pictures. Then they can really look at their trike before we ship it out and they can go, yeah, this is exactly what I want. Or they can say, hey, can you add this? Because that's kind of their last chance to make changes or to clarify something. They go, well, hey, I thought it came with this, or hey, I want to add this, or can you put the different seat on, that kind of thing.
And in the end, they get a really cool 360-degree view of their ride, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So then we'll,
Who was that guy? That's funny.
I think AZUB may have delivered that to us at one point.
Hansa made a bunch of like sacks, bags out of that. So I have a bag with my face on it.
There you go.
It's a little surreal, but cool.
So we started making quads with trike conversions. We were taking trikes and then we were adding fourth wheel to them because that was actually one of the very first things. Like when we first started selling trikes to people, people would come in and go, those things look weird.
Right.
You know, and a lot of people that are new to it, they come in and they go, well, why do you have two wheels in the front and one in the back?
Right.
Wouldn't it be better to have four?
Right.
And you know, people would ask that question. We started making quads, and then our first real production style quad that we made was based on the Cat Trike. It was the Cat 4, and the very first one that we did, we brought to one of Cat Trike's rallies in Florida, and you know, Paolo himself, he looked at it and he said, well, we got to call this the Cat 4. And we said, okay, that's what we're calling it.
Cool.
So we started making the Cat 4, then we started making the fat Cat 4 with fat wheels. And then probably about 15 years ago, we started manufacturing our own quads.
So that orange one in the shop, you made the frame for that? You built that from scratch?
We build them all from scratch.
Okay.
So yeah, and that's, you know, like I said, that's probably about 50% of our business at this point is we're making quads.
Wow, that's cool. That's like really made in USA right there. Have you lived in Utah your whole life?
No, I'm actually from Northern California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sacramento area. So yeah, this is our inventory room here. We do a lot of just parts shipping. That's probably about 30% of our business.
Parts.
Is parts. Yeah, so we've got, you know, everything from, you know, every part of every trike that we sell is here. You know, somebody goes, hey, I want that shell carbon fiber ice seat. I got that, you know, or I want pedals or whatever they want. We got it. Yeah.
Every part for every brand, you know, you gotta.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. Yeah, and then we've got
shipping. What do you say is your most successful trike as far as sales goes? What is
Cat Trike?
Cat Trike?
Yeah.
Which one? Is there a model that's more than others?
You know, it changes. Like for a long time, it was the Cat Trike Villager. 559's always been popular. The Dumont, everyone, the newest one, obviously the Max, people love that one. It's new, it's, you know, it's different. Yep. So AZUB, we sell as many as we can get. So
that's the hurdle.
Yeah, so frankly, that is the problem right now. Like I think we're waiting for about a dozen tie flies to come in at this point.
Well, I mean, you know, I built my trike at the facility, and everything's like really like handmade and more detailed, and they don't do as many a quantity as say like HP. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. This is one of our sets that we use for our tech videos.
Yeah, I think I've seen this.
Yeah. So, you know, kind of more of a isolated set where we're doing all this, and
cool.
Gives the guys a nice clean area to work with.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
How many square feet?
Right, we've got about 53,000 square feet.
Okay.
Yeah, so more trikes here. You know, Sunseeker is also another one of our big brands we sell a lot of, particularly the Fat Tad CXS. This is our battery room. So this room here is actually, it has its own fire suppression set up. Yeah, so here's our...
Oh, I like that sound. The sound of a shop.
Here's where the magic happens, the fabrication. So, you know, every day we've got shipments coming in and out of our dock, and then, you know, we've got metal there, CNC machine, and then we're jigging up and welding all day long over here. And then there we've got our powder coat booth and sandblasting.
Now I see those boxes over there. All your trikes leave here fully assembled?
Yeah, so we ship every trike out fully assembled.
Yep.
We don't even fold them. And so here's where, you know, we box them up down here. Everything gets packaged and boxed up. Yeah, we ship them out in these big, huge refrigerator-sized boxes.
Do you have a deal with the shipper? Like, because you must ship, I mean, it's a lot bigger to ship a fully assembled trike than a...
We've been doing this a long time, and we have monthly meetings with different shipping companies, and everyone's always negotiating to find the best rates for us, you know, so we can keep our costs down. So we do subsidize the shipping though. So
it's in the price of the vehicle.
Yeah, so most of the time, you know, most things the customer's gonna pay $200-300 to ship most non-electric trikes, and you know, even though that cost may, you know, it costs us probably closer to, you know, $600 or so.
Right.
And then the bigger, like heavier quads that, you know, those may cost the customer $600 to $800, and we're paying, you know, closer to $1,500. Sandblasting is over here, so we made a whole self-contained sandblasting booth, you know, with its own vacuum system, and it's got its own breather, so when they're in there, they're wearing a suit.
Yep. How many colors do you have in stock?
In stock, probably 100. There's nice companies like Prismatic Powders, for example, and they have thousands of colors. Right. And like if somebody really wants something custom, they just go on there, pick a color, and then we'll powder coat it. That's the shop tour there for you.
Just a little bike shop. Just a little bike shop, you know, your neighborhood bike shop. Well, there you go. That's Utah Trikes. A little walkthrough. All right. Well, we'll follow up with a bunch of content on my trip here at Utah Trikes, and it'll just be more and more interesting factoids. And so we'll catch you in the next one. Hey guys, thanks for watching the episode. If you're interested in following along on the van and trike tour, check out my Map My Travels map in the description below. It shows the path I'm taking, and it'll be updated with dates as I progress along the route. The map was built on an app designed by my friend Tice, and it's something that I've been using since I started cycling around Asia almost a decade ago. Upload routes, customize your points, and even attach videos and images to each point. It's a fun way to share your journey, and it's available now if you're interested. Tice is offering a 50% discount on a coupon code that you can get by capturing the QR code on the screen or just by clicking in the links below. It's a great way to share your tour and help out a fellow cycle traveler. Thanks again, and catch you in the next episode.